This is the last point, though. So, point number 3, viewing everything through the lens of stewardship. So much easier said than done. So last week, I preached to our Chi Alpha group about money, which was awesome. Loved doing that. And I asked for a volunteer to give me what they thought a good definition of stewardship is. And one of my students, super brilliant, said, taking care of something that isn't mine. And I thought, that is a wonderful definition of stewardship, right? I didn't even think about something that wasn't mine. I just thought I would be happy for the answer, taking care of something well, right? But he said, taking care of something that isn't mine, right? And so as we look at the worries, right, of these people, and Jesus says, hey, there's so much more to the body, right? There is so much more to life, right? I think we can worry less when we look at it all through the lens of stewardship, right? Not just our money, right? Because I think when we think stewardship, I think about money right away. I'm like, oh, money, right? But what if we looked at our work through the lens of stewardship? Right? What if we looked at everything that we own through the lens of stewardship? Now, I am forced to do this, and I am so thankful for that. Being a missionary, we live on the stewardship of God through people, right? And you guys know this. You are an incredible missions supporting and sending church. So I know you know this, right? But that as missionaries, we realize if God doesn't provide, then we have nothing, right? Because everything we own is due to God's provision. And he often uses people to partner in that, right? That's how he does it. And so when we look at, hey, everything that I have that I'm worried about, my physical body, right? My physical things, my home, my family, right? Oh, family's such a hard one. Like, oh man, right? When I think about that, hey, not just are these people my family, but they're God's created children that he loves. Ooh, when we look at everything through stewardship instead of ownership, right, it allows us to be worried less because we remember that God is the owner of all, right? And let me tell you, my husband and I are working our way out of debt. We've done the Dave Ramsey plan, and we call Dave Ramsey our uncle. And so Uncle Dave said we can't pay for that. Uncle Dave said, right? And so I love that God is in debt to no one, right? Doesn't that give you confidence as you look at your God who is your provider, that God is in debt to no one? He doesn't have to, whatever the saying is, rob Peter to pay Paul. I don't know why we use biblical names for that, right? But God doesn't do that, right? God owns it all, right? He owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. He owns it all. And so we can trust him as the ultimate steward of all things, that he allows us to steward things on earth. And so we can look at our physical bodies, right? This is a good one for me, even though I'm young with those health concerns, right? I started thinking a lot of big questions about dying, right? I never thought I'd think about dying. I thought I'd think about dying at the back end of life, right? Not the front end. And so I started thinking about that. And I just remember thinking, hey, this body is a rental. Right? Until I get my heavenly body, like Jonathan said last week, right? We get to look like David Hasselhoff or Selena Gomez, right? We get our heavenly body. This thing's just a rental, right? And so when we look at our time, right? Our time is a gift given by God, right? And because of these things, I feel like because of what I've kind of been through in the past year, I wake up every morning and I say, hey, God, thanks for opening my eyes. That's literally what I say, right? I look at the ceiling and I'm like, yes, another day here, right? And so, God, thank you for the ability to steward more time here on earth, right? And so,